Hi, NARC troopers. Do you hear those wind chimes? It's getting ready to rain, and the wind's picking up, and I can hear little bits of rain touching all those leaves in the trees behind my house all around me. It's kind of like a forest, and I have a whole wall of bamboo over there. I'll show you when it's time to go. I want to talk to you today about dreams, because dreams are important, and I'm talking about all kinds of dreams. The dreams that you have about the future, and the dreams you have when you're sleeping, and the dreams you dream for yourself, the things that your heart wants. And I want to say that following a relationship with a personality disorder, narcissist, psychopath, or a person with antisocial personality disorder, they do a number on you, because you start to have cognitive dissonance and some brain fog, and you doubt yourself. You ask, what did I do wrong to cause them to turn so quickly? You know, that's one of the hallmark characteristics of one of these disordered people, is that they love you one day and they absolutely hate you and want you to die the next day. And it's just impossible to ever make sense of that, and it messes with your head. How can that be, that someone that you have given your life to? Oh, that wind is picking up. Do you feel it? Oh. How can it be that someone you've given your life to suddenly and appears to love you, right? They appear to love you. They do some crazy, messed up stuff sometimes, but you tell yourself, well, you know, they're damaged. They have some problems. They're going to therapy. They're going to a 12-step program. They're going somewhere to get help, and they're trying to do better. And so, you know, maybe they're going to be okay, and maybe it's all going to be all right. And you tell yourself that a lot when you're with them, in a relationship with them. You hope for the best, and you see the good in them. You try to tell yourself that they are a good person. They just do bad things sometimes. You make excuses for them and everything else. But after they go, the way that they one minute love you and the next minute they hate you and have such contempt for you, it's something that's incomprehensible. It's something that a regular, normal person cannot wrap their mind around that, because what is that? How can you love somebody one day and the very next day you hate them? So back to the topic of dreams. When we put our future in the hands of a disordered partner, and we think that they're a team player and that you're in this thing together, building this future, I want to tell you that's not what happens. No. You think you're in a common dream for the future, and that you're building something, and maybe you marry them. Maybe you have children, you have babies with them. Maybe you spend 20 years with them, and you think, yes, this person is not quite like everybody else. They're like not, you know, there's some things maybe wrong with them, but at the end of the day, nobody's perfect, and so we're married. And so you stand by your partner, even if you've discovered that there's something not quite right about them. So they just discard you like this. Boom, hocus pocus, boom, they're gone, right? They're here one minute, they're gone the next. Loving you one minute, hating you the next. What happens to that dream? The dream that you had collectively, together, for home, for family, for community, for communion with one another? What about the dream that you had where you could just picture yourself with this partner living a happily ever after by the beach, in the mountains, in some wooded snowy forest? I saw that. I thought we were moving to Boston. We went like 3 or 4 times the year before he left. He took all these like tests to like get certified to work there as a teacher and as an administrator, because that's what we both were. And, you know, for all practical purposes, we were moving to Boston to be close to family, to have a happily ever after, and then boom, out of nowhere, gone. And so the dream is torpedoed. The dream is annihilated. It's evaporated. It's an atomic bomb. You know, it's like your dream is destroyed, because in an instant, when they do that departure, quick discard thing, they call it, then it's like suddenly everything you thought was going to be your future and everything you thought was going to be your life, it's not. It's not going to happen now. So I have a group of people that I met in a support group for narcissistic abuse survivors. And every one of them has a story. Some of them came out of this like with nothing. They lost their home, they lost all of their savings, they ended up horribly in debt, had to file for bankruptcy, and at the end of the day, you know, their disordered partner didn't even blink. He just went, you know, he went for everything. Like, I hate you, just die and let me have everything, was kind of his attitude in their cases. And, you know, they're each different in a way, but just the one thing they have in common is they're ruthless and so cold. One woman had 3 children with this guy. They were married for like 24 years, 25 years. And of course it wasn't perfect, but that they were married and you work things out, right? And so there was the good and the bad and the good and the bad. Remember what that's called? Intermittent reinforcement. That's what gets you trauma bonded and addicted to the high points. And then the low points come where they're doing something crazy and weird. And then the high points come again and you're like, oh my God, how much I love this man. And then boom, you're back down to something else horrible. And the lows get lower and lower. My cat's running around. We go through that and we stay, partially because we're trauma bonded and we're addicted, but partially because we love them, partially because we believe that marriage is something forever. You work things out. You go through phases and periods and you withstand the storm and you're still standing when it's over and all that, you know, we bought into that. And so they destroy your dreams. They're dream destroyers, because what you discover is that maybe that whole time, maybe that whole 25 years, or in my case, 15 years, or in another friend of mine, 12 years. I mean, some of these people last a long time in a marriage and play the part reasonably well. I think ideally my ex has hit a gold mine, because he has found a person that he says is not possessive, jealous, or doesn't believe in, like, you know, having to be faithful or having fidelity or monogamy or anything like that. They can just go be with whoever they want to be with, sleep with whoever they want to sleep with, have group sex extravaganzas, sexcapades, all that fun stuff. And she's still there the next day, because she's like that too, all freaky deaky and like, how should we say, relaxed ethics, sexual ethics. Yeah, sexual ethics, that's a thing. And so they act as if it's a good thing to not want to have one person and be loyal to that one person. They act like that is a stupid, foolish notion. But that's crazy, right? Because that's the foundation of life. You pair, you trust, you build intimacy, and you stick together and weather any storm, and you stay together till death do you part. What happened to that? Nope, you stay together until it's boring, or until something comes along to make a problem, and then poof, let's move on. Next. They're dream destroyers. I had a dream earlier today, and in that dream, he was there, he was talking to me. He didn't look the same. He didn't look like my husband. He has shape-shifted into more of a bohemian version of himself, and all wild and tussled and all that, and polyamorous. That's a look, I think. I don't know. Anyway, he was telling me, he was talking, I was right there, and he was leaning over, like right in my face, and he was talking to somebody else with this weird accent, because his voice has changed. Even the way he pronounces his words, his whole personality just flipped now that he's got this new person who possibly could be a narcissist or a psychopath just like him. It's very possible, very possible. And those pairings are very interesting. We'll talk about that in another episode. But he was talking to her, only he was right here by me, and he was saying, you got to come to Costa, or up, you said you would. It's just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And I think I forced myself to wake up because I just couldn't hear it. It was crazy. And I didn't hardly recognize him. He's shape-shifted into a new version of himself that is not the respectable school teacher guy that I was married to, or at least the guy that was trying to be respectable and, have some dignity and have some moral virtue. He didn't know what that was, I don't think, but he was trying to pretend he had it. So, what's the answer? Here's the punchline, the bottom line. They destroy your dreams. They are false. You lived in a shared fantasy with this person that was not real. Sooner or later, whether it's 1 year, 5 years, or 25 years, they're going to show you what they are when you no longer serve their best purpose, like you're raising their kids, or you're giving them money and paying the bills, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. When you no longer serve them in the way, or maybe they're learning things from you, they're learning how to be and how to act, and they're acquiring character traits and personality traits because they have none. And so when they're done like that, and they're gone like that, they're gone. And so when that happens and your future just evaporates, then it becomes incumbent upon you. I like that, incumbent upon you. It becomes necessary for you to create your own dream and to make one for yourself. And I push back against this and say, no, I don't want to get through my life by myself. He's surrounded by all of these people who do fun things with him and sleep with him, and he's never alone, and blah, blah, blah. It's not fair. I'm the one that has abandonment issues. I'm the one that has attachment issues. How come he's got all these people around him and I have zero, zilch, no one? That's not fair. But you know what? It's an opportunity for me to construct, to create, to build, to become the engineer of my own life, to resurrect something from those ashes, to build it carefully, authentically, genuinely, to build it correctly, on solid ground, not on fairy dust and make-believe stuff. Sure, living in that like shared fantasy with them is glorious. Parts of it couldn't be better. You're flying. You have wings. There's unicorns. There's fairies. There's puppies, and it's fabulous. It's bliss, but it's not real, and it doesn't last. So we are real, and we need to do real things and have real dreams that we make happen. So we have to take that opportunity, seize the opportunity, grab hold of it, and say, okay, I didn't want this, didn't ask for it. And on a lot of days, I don't feel like I deserve. Like, I look back over my shoulder at the past 2 years, and I think, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you had to suffer like that. I am so sorry for your pain and fear and loneliness and all of the horrible things that you went through. Horrible things these past 2 years. I say that to myself, and then I say, it's okay. I even pat myself and I say, it's okay, because I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to make my own dream. I'm going to accomplish that dream, because it's going to be realistic, attainable, well-planned, on solid ground. It's not going to be some crazy pie in the sky dream that you have to do all of these extreme unethical and maybe illegal things to accomplish this wild dream that is like not even, because that's how they are. I mean, it's like, whoa, they're just like, they don't live in the same world we live in. It's all an illusion, and they're delusional, and they don't play by the same rules, and so they set their intention and think they're going to manifest $1 million like that tomorrow. And if they don't manifest it, they go steal it or find some way to be a con artist to get it from somebody or whatever. I mean, they're snakes. Yeah, they're shapeshifters, and they're not good for your soul, not good for your heart, not good for you in any way. So we let them go. We make our own dreams come true. We set them. Me, I don't know. I've thought about all kinds of things. I'm going to move to the ocean and just go there and build some kind of something there and get by and walk on the beach and watch the sunset and do what I always said I was going to do. You know what else I always said I was going to do? I was going to finish some degree programs in college. So maybe I'm going to go back to college, even though I am not young. Well, why not? You know, why not? I could go back to college and get another degree. I could leverage that degree to make some kind of steady income for myself after I retire from teaching. I have all kinds of opportunity. I just need to be brave, focused, committed, and realistic about planning them. I need to be brave and not fearful, like, oh my gosh, what if I get there and this happens or that happens, and oh my gosh, what if? Well, you know, what if I get hit by a bus tomorrow? What if I die in my sleep tonight? What if I get COVID and become a long hauler and spend the rest of my days, like, I don't know, languishing away somewhere? I mean, yeah, you can think gloom and doom thoughts, but why do you do that? If you're negative, you draw the negative energy to you. You want to push the negative energy away. You know what else you want to push away? Crazy people. People who are mentally disordered, who have brains that don't work. He was so offended recently when I talked to him. Yeah, I have those weak moments when I do talk to him. He said, you know, I don't like it how you talk about there's being something wrong with my brain. I'm like, there is something wrong with your brain. And if you could ever just admit that or use it, hey, use it. Be like a H.G. Tudor or Sam Vilkman, I think is his name. One of those guys, they are psychopaths. Yeah, they're psychopaths. They're narcissistic psychopaths. I call them narcopaths. They're that. And they have their own podcast channel, YouTube shows. They've written books. They published articles. They're highly intelligent, highly functioning, and they're like probably millionaires because they have used their psychopathy and narcissism to market it. Like, hey, do you want to be inside the head of somebody who is for real a narcissistic psychopath? Here, let me open the door and show you what's in here. And they write it down. People eat that stuff up. Why doesn't he do that? Yeah, anyway. 99.9% of the time, these people will not own it. They're never going to acknowledge what they are. They're never going to own what they do, what they fail to do, or anything that happened to you. So you have to be responsible for you. You have to take charge, make your own dream, try to stop dreaming about it when you're sleeping, and just get on with your life and make your own dreams come true. I know that's not what I wanted to hear. No, I wanted a partner. I wanted my husband beside me. So much easier, I thought, with a partner. But my partner was mentally ill. My partner was a dud. He was broken, and I couldn't fix him, and I was silly to think I could. So now I have to release that, and I have to move on by myself, for myself, with myself. So that, my friends, is my message of the day. Have a wonderful week. Bye.